Unfortunately, doctors won't warn you, and your mom probably never told you. But there are foods out there that will not only make you sick, but if not prepared properly, could even be deadly. So watch while we go over 5 everyday foods that you might want to avoid. And stay tuned till the end because number 5 is something you're probably eating way too much of. Number 1, nutmeg. I know, who doesn't love this little spice? After all, what's better than a little nutmeg in your eggnog or even in creamy pasta? And that's the key, a little. Overindulging in this spice can prove problematic and even fatal, since nutmeg contains a compound called myristicin. And myristicin is a psychoactive substance that in large doses can actually poison your system and cause organ failure. You might be wondering how a spice can be deadly. Well, this substance actually turns your own cells against themselves. And it doesn't take a lot. Only 2 to 3 teaspoons can result in seizures, irregular heartbeats, and even hallucinations. Yep, hallucinations, similar to the ones that people get from taking peyote. Since nutmeg is metabolized into MMDA, which is why historically it was used to actually get high. But before some of you get any ideas, forget about it, since the vomiting and toxicity make it a deadly experiment, especially since there is no cure for myristicin poisoning. Number 2, rhubarb. This one actually might be surprising. After all, rhubarb is used in everything from pies to muffins to cakes. And even though we think of rhubarb as a vegetable, it's actually botanically a fruit, a deadly fruit, especially since the leaves of this plant contain high levels of oxalic acid, which is actually a corrosive and acidic substance that can lead to kidney failure and even death. So even though broccoli and spinach contain this acid as well, rhubarb has a quarter on the market with deadly amounts. If you think I'm kidding, look it up. During World War I, British troops mistakenly ate the leaves when vegetables were scarce, leading to poisoning and deaths. Number 3, elderberries. Elderberries are actually perfectly fine to eat, if cooked properly. Yep, this is a food on this list that if cooked incorrectly, or if they're not ripe, can do some serious damage. In fact, the entire tree, including leaves, roots, and seeds, is problematic and contains bitter alkaloids. This means that if elderberries are not stored, cooked, or processed correctly, they can actually cause severe nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea. And if you think that's not a problem, the CDC actually reported that recently 8 people were poisoned after drinking an elderberry juice and branch mixture. Luckily, they all survived. But let's just say it was a close call, and they didn't escape dealing with severe vomiting first. Number 4, apple seeds. Did you know that what's inside an apple can prove to be deadly? That's right, those little black seeds that grow those apple trees can also do some real damage, since apple seeds contain a substance called amygdalin, which, when broken down by our stomachs, turns into cyanide. That's right. That's why if you've ever dared to eat an apple seed, it tastes bitter. And since cyanide is a poison that hurts your body's ability to carry oxygen, you can see why that doesn't help when you're trying to stay alive. But there's good news. Our bodies can break down small amounts of cyanide, so you'd have to eat hundreds of these little guys before biting the big one. And even then, they'd have to be crushed or chewed. Number 5, red kidney beans. If you're like me, there's nothing better than red beans and rice. But this one has me rethinking things. We all know that beans of any kind can cause gastrointestinal issues. But red beans are in a league of their own, since red beans contain a natural protein called lectin. Why is it a problem? Well, within a few hours of consuming lectin, nausea, vomiting, and stomach pain can appear, since this is the bean's natural defense system. Seems like these little guys don't actually enjoy being eaten. But don't worry, this can all be avoided by proper preparation. So given that beans are one of the healthiest sources of protein, don't give up just yet. It's recommended that dried kidney beans be soaked for at least 5 hours and boiled for at least 30 minutes. Oh, and if you're throwing these into a slow cooker, think again. The water doesn't get hot enough to get rid of lectin. So there you have it, 5 foods that when eaten without care can have you calling your doctor. Is there anything on this list that surprised you? Oh, and if you like this video, check out our channel for more videos on foods that can actually help your health. So until next time, remember, we try to eat healthy today to be healthy tomorrow. Take care.